Now, just to recap, if you're tuning in late on the big story on the first full day of campaigning in this election 2022 was the implosion by the opposition leader Anthony Albanese, who was asked a couple of gotcha questions, but they were such easy questions about two of the most important economic facts in this campaign. Couple of facts that actually underpin the whole economic debate. One of them was the cash rate, which he wouldn't answer. He had no clue. And then he was asked about unemployment by our own Andrew Clennell. Have a look.
It's up to people to ask whatever questions they want. Andrew.
What's the national unemployment rate?
National unemployment rate at the moment is, I think it's 5.4. Sorry, I'm not sure what it is.
Just extraordinary. I see it. I've seen it so many times. I still can't believe it. Let me bring in Liberal Senator for New South Wales, Jim Molan. Good to talk to you again, Jim. But, I mean, you just wouldn't believe your luck seeing that unfold on television today. Would you just want to pack up the campaign now and leave it all to Anthony Albanese for a few days?
Well, as James McGrath said, it's very, very early days and we're all capable of making mistakes, but this was a boomer, Chris. And I could give you a few figures right now so that you don't have to ask me. But
well, you're cheating. You've seen the James McGrath interview, so obviously,
absolutely.
Obviously, you know the budget deficit. What else could we hit you with?
Gross debt. Ask me gross debt, mate. And the deficit, I believe, is 79.8. So you're wrong too.
Well, I said 80 billion. It's around 80 billion. That's the trouble. I'll only test you on things I know the answer to. How many games have the Crows lost a game?
I give in. I surrender.
By less than a kick. It is fun, but the point is this is fundamental. And look, I know a lot of the media had a bit of fun with the price of fuel and bread and stuff with Scott Morrison, and he wore some pain over that. It's really about, are you out of touch? Do you not go to the supermarket and keep an eye on these things? I noticed Anthony Albanese was wildly wrong on the petrol price today, by the way. He said it's $2.20. Well, I mean, it's a long time since it's been $2.20.
It's dropped down considerably. Yeah. But they are important. They are important questions. And these are more important questions than the cost of milk and the cost of bread. You know, for a Prime Minister that works 36 hours every day, he ain't going to be going out and buying bread. This is a different kind of gotcha. In fact, the ones that were asked today, I don't think were gotchas. They were serious questions.
Well, that's my point about this. These are not facts that you file away to be dragged out when you're asked a question. These are the numbers that people like myself, and I have no responsibility in public policy, but if you're engaged in the debate, these are running numbers in your head because you don't learn that they're constantly updated. And you always know where the cash rate is. You always know where the dollar is against the US dollar. You always know where unemployment is. And so it means he's not really engaged in thinking about the debate.
Well, I did an economics degree through the University of Queensland about 150 years ago, and I can't think of one benefit that I've got from that degree through my entire life. However, Elbo and I have got that in common.
Well, I want to move on to something when it comes to national security, because we have this election framed in perilous times. There's a lot of bipartisanship when it comes to the approach to national security. But I want to get your thoughts on Boris Johnson, the British Prime Minister, actually hitting the ground and walking the streets of Kyiv over the weekend. I thought it was a fantastic gesture, and it's led to even more commitment of arms to Ukraine from Britain.
Well, thank God for the Brits, and thank God they've moved out of Europe, because they were becoming, and I saw this in Iraq, they were becoming much, much too European. But they're not European now. Johnson going over to meet Zelenskyy was a classic example of leadership. And in this high technology age, this IT age where everything is phenomenal and missiles do this and do that, to get a human being out on the street, such as Johnson and Zelenskyy, demonstrating to the people that the capital is more secure, demonstrating to the people that one country supports another. And Zelenskyy's leadership has just been superb. Now, we're seeing, fascinatingly, Chris, we're seeing the exact opposite on the Russian side. We're seeing this Dvornikov this new general coming in on the other side, and he is likely to bring a totally immoral approach to warfare. And that's where I think we're seeing, you know, the human factor in warfare. It ain't just cyber. This is the human factor in warfare.
Yeah, extraordinary scenes, but strangely, they also conveyed to me just the abomination that is in that war in Ukraine, when you can actually go to the Kiev, you can duck across there from other parts of Europe, yet all around that country, so many innocents have been slaughtered.
That's right. And what does worry me significantly, in all the operations that I was involved in, I adopted what I thought was a philosophy of constructive paranoia. And as soon as you think things are going well, you should be very, very careful. Yeah. And if we look at Ukraine now, and we see the Russians pulling back from Kiev, moving their troops supposedly around to the east, we know that Russia has an extraordinary capacity for the use of violence in warfare. We have seen a failing strategy, failing tactics, logistics, morality, command and control, and failed generalship. Well, the Russians might lash out. They will learn,
that is the worry.
And they might lash out. And that's what worries me deeply.
Yeah, that is a deep worry. Thanks for joining us, Jim. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Chris.
Senator Jim Molan, of course, retired Major General from the Australian Army as well.